So it seems like an evening for childhood stories. And the story I'd like to tell you is a childhood story too, but nothing as big and amazing as the ones that we've heard. It was about snack food. You see, my father, he was a rocket scientist, literally, and he applied those scientific principles to just about everything in our lives, which was generally a good thing, except I thought when it came to snack food, because he was way ahead of his time. No artificial colors, no artificial flavors, very little sugar, no chocolate, really. And so, of course, everything that was forbidden was exactly what I craved. Cheetos, for example. They were bright orange, they were really crunchy, and I wanted them and could not have them. And then anything that was advertised on the Saturday morning cartoon shows, which meant that I was passionately in love with Hostess. Anything Hostess. You know, those white and pink snowballs with the coconut on top, and the Hostess cupcakes with a little squiggle of icing on it, and the ding-dongs that were wrapped in foil so they looked all silvery and valuable. But my favorite, the one I really, really wanted, Twinkies. The advertising made them look so delectable. And even the tagline, it said, "The golden snack cake with the prize inside." Wow. I thought, wow. But I knew that this was something that was completely out of reach in my home. And then there came a day when I got to taste a Twinkie. I was doing board games with my friend Jill a couple blocks away when her mother came in and she said, "Would you girls like to have a Twinkie?" And I thought, a Twinkie? A Twinkie? You're offering me a Twinkie? I said, "Yes, please." And she came back from the kitchen with a Twinkie for me and one for Jill. Actually, two for each of us because they were in double packages. She said we could save the second one for later. Well, I had a Twinkie in my own hands, and I unwrapped it carefully. The cellophane made a sort of delectable, crinkly sound, and then I took my first bite, and the second, and the third, and in no time at all, the Twinkie was gone, and I was licking my fingers, get the last little bit of sweetness off. And my friend Jill said, "Wow, you know, it looks like you've never eaten a Twinkie." And I said, "Well, I haven't." She said, "Really?" I said, "Really?" She said, "Well, did you like it?" And I said, "Yes, it was very good. But mine was," and I used a big word that I had recently learned, and this seemed like a good place to use it. "Mine was defective." And she said, "Defective? You mean there was something wrong with your Twinkie?" And I said, "Yes, there was." And she said, "What could have been wrong with your Twinkie?" And I said, "Well, there was no prize." And she said, "What?" I said, "Well, you know, the golden snack cake with a prize inside." She said, "Prize?" I said, "Yeah, you know, like Cracker Jacks." She said, "Well, what were you expecting?" I said, "Oh, I don't know, maybe a little miniature pack of playing cards, a little magic trick, something, anything, just a prize." She said, "It's not a prize. It's a surprise, the surprise inside." I said, "Well, whatever. Mine did not have a prize or a surprise." She said, "It did." I said, "It didn't." She said, "It did. It's the cream filling." I said, "What? The surprise inside is the cream filling? That's it?" She said, "That's it." And instantly I felt betrayed. The entire snack food industry, and Hostess in particular, they had made advertisements and they were wrong. There was no prize, there was no surprise, and I became extremely jaded. And so it was not a surprise to me when I found out later that supposedly you could bury a Twinkie and leave it there for 10 years and you dig it up and it'd be just as edible or inedible, depending on what you, as it had been when you buried it. And it was also not a surprise to me me when I learned that somebody had actually committed murder and had blamed it on an excess of Twinkies. But I will say that from that moment on, I became skeptical of all advertising, and I developed a real loathing for Hostess. No longer did I crave the pink and white snowballs, the cupcakes with a little squiggle of icing, the foil-wrapped ding-dongs, and especially loathsome to me was the hated Twinkie. But probably the worst part about the entire experience was that I had to admit my dad was right. Pass the carrot sticks.